Happy Wednesday, everybody. Now that spring is calendar official, I figured we'd do a couple YouTube videos focusing on spring cleaning. I don't mean spring cleaning around your house. I mean more along the lines of what I'm trying to teach you about, which would be makeup and fashion. This week, we're going to be doing a spring cleaning with your makeup bag. Next week, we're going to be doing a spring cleaning with your closet. Now, what inspired me to do the spring cleaning with your makeup especially is I know someone who has only recently replaced a mascara of hers, and the old one she had for, she said, about 2 years.
Say what?
Now that is a huge no-no because bacteria is going to build up, the product is going to change how it applies. Besides the risk of giving yourself an infection, the product also isn't going to perform as well as it did when it was brand new. And the thing is, she knew when to replace her mascara and was still a bad girl and didn't do it anyway. I know a lot of people out there aren't sure about the expiration date of their makeup, on when to replace it, when to throw it out, so that's what we're going to cover today. Now we'll start off with mascara since that's what we were talking about anyway. The shelf life of this, or makeup bag life, is anywhere from 2 to 6 months. Unfortunately, if you look up makeup expiration dates, you're told about 20,000 different things. With mascara, I would say 2 to 6 months. 6 months, absolute maximum. And that's not using it every day or sharing it with anyone or anything like that. Tips with mascara to know when it's going bad. Once it actually, and this is going to sound weird, but you should smell it when you first get it. And if that smell changes, that means that something inside has altered, usually with bacteria, and that means it's time to get rid of it. Also, if it gets clumpy or dried out or changes how it goes on in any way, those are all signs that something has changed in the bottle and it's time to get rid of it. A tip on how to make your mascara last a little longer and avoid bacteria is, and I'm going to throw this one out anyway, is never do this, because that is only pumping air into the bottle. It's going to dry it out. It's going to put bacteria in there. If it's getting low and you need more mascara than that originally came out on the brush, instead of sitting there and pumping it, you should kind of twirl it around to get stuff that's stuck on the outside. Another product like mascara that needs to be replaced fairly regularly is eyeliner. You're more likely to get an infection from these two products if they're not properly cared for. Now, eyeliner, I've seen, again, a bunch of different things. Some people say 2 months, some people say 3 years. If it's an eyeliner you use every day, chances are you might run out of it before you have to replace it. The minimum time I would say would be about, same as mascara, 6 months max, usually maybe around 2 or 3. Same thing, if it smells different, if it goes on different, if the color changes, that means something's wrong and you need to replace it. If it's an eyeliner that you don't use that often, if it's a color that you put on for a fun night out every once in a while, you can probably get a year out of it. Just make sure to take steps to make it last longer. And a tip to make your liner last longer and stay clean would be to take an alcohol swab that they use for like shots, and then swab it after each use. That will kill any bacteria sitting on here. So that's especially good for liners you don't use that often. That way they can sit in the makeup bag and not grow bacteria for months. Liners you use every day, same thing. You can wipe those down with alcohol. Swabbing it with alcohol is the best way to make your liner last longer, and that goes for lip liners as well. A couple other products that are subject to more frequent replacing are creams or gels. Usually these are concealers or gel or cream liners that are put on with a brush. Best advice for a cream or gel liner is always make sure you're using a clean brush when you go in. That will help avoid bacteria getting in here. Shelf life of these is anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on usage, depending on, again, if you're using a clean brush. Concealers, same thing. Make sure your hands are clean when you put it in there. Now, after those products, the rest of your makeup will last considerably longer. We'll start with foundation. Liquid foundation will last you anywhere from 6 months to a year. Again, chances are, especially if it's something you use every day, you'll run out of it before you need to replace it. Advice on this is once it separates or smells different, goes on differently, color changes, that means it's time to get rid of it. Best thing to use is anything with a pump action bottle that, prevents brushes or sponges or fingers from getting in there and putting in there bacteria, keeps it sealed. Keep these out of the sun or the product will go bad on you because it will separate and it won't act the same anymore. Next product we'll cover are for your lips, either a lipstick or a lip gloss. Now again, When I did my research, there's multiple things that people say. Some people say a year, some people say 18 months, some people say 2 years, depending on what it is. Again, the advice is once it changes color, smell, consistency, texture, get rid of it. That means something's changed. I would say you've got about 2 years on a lipstick before anything will kind of go bad on you, and about 1 year with a lip gloss. Same advice as a mascara. If you need more out of it, don't sit there and pump it up and down, because that's just going to get air in there, and chances are will dry it out more than put too much bacteria in there. If you need more, rub it around and get stuff that's stuck on the outside rather than pump air into it, and you'll reduce the shelf life probably by half. Lipsticks are another thing that you can do, like with liner. When you apply them and are done and want to make them last longer without bacteria, take an alcohol swab, wipe down the outside. That's a trick any makeup artist working on clients uses to make sure their stuff stays completely sanitized. And was also good for stuff at home. That way they'll last longer. One of the last products we'll talk about are powders. That can be anything from a powder foundation to a powder blush to a powder eyeshadow. Powders are very common in all types of forms of makeup, but the shelf life of them is all basically the same. Again, you'll hear different things if you look it up, but powders will last you about 2 years. The chances of getting bacteria in this makeup is based solely upon how clean the brushes are that you use on it. If it's something you use every day, chances are you'll probably run out of it before you need to replace it. But the advice goes for everything. Once it changes color, consistency, texture, or smell, get rid of it. That means something in the product has altered. One last quick little product that I know there are some people out there that have in their makeup bags are false lashes, or at least, you'll buy them for a fun night out every once in a while. My advice, do not reuse these. I hope those tips and info were helpful for you and kind of give you a little information about how long the makeup in your makeup bag should actually be in there. Bottom line is, once the product changes consistency, color, texture, or smell, that means something in there has changed, whether it be bacteria, whether it be the product going bad. It just needs to be replaced, because at that point it's not serving your purpose anyway. It's not going to apply how it did when it was brand new. You're not going to get the same benefits out of it. So it's really worth it to just get rid of it, buy a new one, and not have to worry about the risk of infection or your makeup not lasting or changing or anything like that. Thanks for watching, everyone.